Hello, hello.
Hi there.
We are laughing, thinking about foolish things we've done in the past.
Yes, good time.
So I'm Selene Castrovilla,
I'm Pesca.
and this is
Life and Jess. I got it. Yeah. Like how fucking long?
this is the 17th episode.
Yeah, okay, 17 times. Wait, I think I got it.
You have that. Yeah, you have.
Before.
Yeah, sometimes you lapse, though.
Yeah, I don't have the best memory.
That's okay. Right, move a little bit closer. Sorry. Come closer, darling.
Oh, we thought of that song that, who sings that song? Maybe Tony Orlando?
Tie a yellow ribbon?
No, come a little bit closer. Wow, I'm such a bad singer.
Is that Tony Orlando?
I don't know.
Oh, no. I'm having the same problem with the
No,
song.
because you're my kind of man, so it's got to be a lady, right? Because it was the 60s or
Maybe
70s.
It was Dawn.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. All I know is I'm having the same problem. Remember I had the problem with my thing?
Oh,
God.
that's unfortunate.
Yes.
All right, you guys are just going to have to hang on.
Give me a second.
Let's talk about this weird light that I'm in.
I don't know what's happening with that.
I think it's a ghost, but Celine does not.
Well, I don't know. All right, it's a ghost. It's Casey.
Hi, Casey.
All right. He says hi. Okay. So, well, speaking of Casey, I'm going to do a mini segment, a little self-serving mini segment.
Oh, okay.
The segment's called Kindness Counts. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this mic. Okay. Because I'm a low talker, so I have to be like right in it.
Last time you were holding it. So, Casey, the anniversary of the day that I lost him is January 13th. And so it's obviously a lot, but I don't want to define him by death. I want to define him by his life. And so I'm starting every January 13th, Casey's Creature Kindness Day.
Oh, I like it. Well,
Yeah.
what I'm assuming it is.
Well, mark your calendars, everybody. Okay, well, here's what I got the idea, because as you know, I listen to a lot of these true crime things. And so one of them talked about when there was this girl's funeral, they got a bunch of puppies and they got them all, every single puppy got adopted at the funeral, like in her honor.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know. So then I was listening to another one where the girl was really kind, like she was really into kindness. And so they made a kindness day in her honor on the day that she died and the anniversary. So just the same idea. So I sort of morphed those two things. Casey loved animals so much.
He sure did.
I mean, any animal, he just adored it.
Yes.
Like, let's see. So Bean, Bean, his dog. I mean, he had that dog.
And you've heard him.
Yeah. And, that was his absolute baby.
Yeah.
And Casey also loved cats. We used to have a ton of cats. I remember one time particularly, I have a picture of him and Jesse, who has been both our cats. They were in embrace, like a raptured sleep together. They were in such ecstasy together, like so happy in love,
Yes. Jesse was a cuddler.
Yes. And it's just so sweet. And Casey just loved all. I remember one time he had a friend who, a cat, like arrived on the doorstep, right? Remember that cat?
Which one?
It was a calico one that lived in my room. What was her name?
I don't know.
I don't remember her name, but she was really sweet. Like, well,
I think we've had this conversation about this cat before.
I know.
And we could not remember the name for the life of us. And then we just dropped it. I don't know what happened.
Sad. But, anyway.
Many cats.
There's so many cats. But this cat, she showed up on his friend's doorstep, and the mother didn't want the cat because Mom, he knew I would come take the cat. So then the cat came, and she lived in my room because the other cats didn't like her.
Yeah.
And she was like the upstairs cat. And she always slept on me. It was so cute.
Well, that's how we got Jesse. My daughter found him.
Yeah. Yeah, she's another.
Find these cats.
She's another one.
The both of us are like, of course, yes to all these animals.
Yes. Well, they love animals. Well, it was like we got to take care of them, but they love them.
Yes, but the kids love them.
Oh my God. Oh, there it goes. I just got this. There has to be a way to get a thing not to lock a screen, right?
Yes, you can, in your settings, you can do that. Yeah.
Settings? This.
Yeah, there should be a way that you can change the time that it takes to lock. You might not want to do that now, though. It might take a minute.
Why?
Because you have to find it.
I swear this is not the doodles anymore. Is it so hard? Is it so?
So, did you just get that tablet?
I did.
Yeah. So,
Come on, guys. Wait, device
unlock. There you go.
Okay. Screen lock. Face unlock. What? Re-enter my PIN. These devices always save us from ourselves.
Yes. I just saw something
You
that.
did? Did you say something?
No. Of course I didn't. Why would I be helpful like that?
Display?
Oh, go back.
No. Not display?
No, that's
where it
no,
was.
that's that's
What about display?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so, though. All right, forget it.
We'll figure it out later.
This may work, though.
What?
This thing that we did.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't want any enhanced privacy.
We need tech people. Does anybody want to work for free and be our tech people? It'll be fun.
They have to come here and stuff. What are they going to do?
Yeah, well, it'll be fun.
Yeah, everybody wants to work for free coming here.
Yeah, we're fun.
We are fun.
We'll give you wine.
We will give them wine. Will you work for wine?
Wine and weed.
Oh, that's true.
We could do that.
All right. Now I've lost my notes. Because of why not?
Okay.
Hold on.
She'll find them.
Well, I hope so. Or Married at First Sight is coming on. You like that?
I did. I don't normally like those shows, but when we were in, where were we? Scotland?
Yes.
We would watch that.
It was good, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many of these shows I like. I was over at my son and daughter-in-law's house the other day, and they had on The Housewives of Salt Lake City. I watched Mob Wives, but I never watched any of the other housewives. It is so amazing how fast you get into those shows. Those women are nuts. Mob Wives isn't on anymore.
Oh.
But these housewives are crazy. It's so entertaining.
No way.
They're so nuts. And it's like they're each wearing about 25 pounds of makeup. They wear the craziest outfits I have ever seen. I don't know where they even get these outfits. And they all hate each other.
No.
And they're all mean to each other. I was watching one where this lady, she was like 50 and she was getting bat mitzvahed.
Little late for that.
Yeah. I was like, is she converting? But she wasn't converting. She just had never had one.
It's okay.
And she had a whole thing. It was ridiculous.
All right. Okay. All right. I found it. I got it back. I want to tell you, this is a very long way around to say, Casey once had this feeling that he had to go outside. And he went outside and he found a baby turtle by the street. And then he brought that in and he goes, I feel like there's another one. And there was.
Oh.
Because, you know, we live on the water and the turtles stop.
By the way.
We live on the water and the turtles come out of the water just to lay eggs and then they go back. Yeah. So it was pretty crazy. And then he rescued a little bird, a baby bird. He named it Cheeto.
That's a cute name.
Yeah. And then one time a hamster just appeared in his bedroom.
Where did the hamster come from?
I don't know. I kind of thought maybe he put it there, but like I did see evidence of nibblings around. like it'd probably been in the house for a while. I don't know.
Did someone plant a hamster in your house?
Maybe it was lost and it burrowed in somehow.
Yeah, like we had a hamster and it used to get out. And I remember we were sitting in the living room one day and the hamster goes walking by and my son goes, whose hamster is that? And I'm like, whose hamster would it be?
He didn't know you had a hamster?
He did.
What was that about?
I don't know. He was like 7.
Oh, well, that was funny. I thought it would be funny if it was a different hamster.
No.
Like a visitor.
That hamster was like an escape artist. They're very good at
right. So this other one probably escaped from somewhere else and they came in here to escape.
They were like, oh, look.
It's a weird house to come to with these cats, though.
I know, but he knew that he'd be safe here, wasn't he?
It was safe.
There you go.
Bought him a cage and everything. I don't know. Maybe Casey did bring the... I don't know. And one time he watched me approach a cat. He was little, right? And I always had the way, like, you put the hand out first.
Yeah.
And they come. And he goes, how did you come up with that technique? He was like 4 years old and he said that. It was really funny.
Casey's smart.
He was. So, okay. So ways to celebrate Casey's Creature Kindness Day. If you can, adopt a creature. I know a lot of people can't, but that's just put that out there. You can volunteer at a shelter to play with the animals. Like, just hang out with them. You can volunteer with a rescue group. You can donate money to an animal charity. And there's Beth's Furry Friends. That's Howard Stern's wife. And I looked up, you can look them up, and I don't know. So I wasn't even meaning to. I was just looking for the website, but I saw the statement of them. She takes zero salary, and all this money goes directly to the animals. And then there's the Animal Rescue Mission.org. This guy, Joey Tuccio, that I know, he's a huge animal activist, and he works with them, and they rescue a lot of animals in Hollywood, and like pit bulls. Nobody wants the pit bulls, the poor pit bulls, you know.
Oh my God, I had a pit bull. That was the best dog ever.
Very well. Bean is 30% pit.
Yeah,
So they're very sweet. So, but people, they have a bad rap.
they do.
So that one, and then there's another one called Starts with One Today, which helps animals on Skid Row and also people that live on Skid Row. You can do whatever you want. You can buy your pet a special treat. You know?
Yes, or you can find local shelters.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's
Absolutely.
always shelters.
Absolutely. But just the idea, like in Casey's memory, because that was one thing about it. He had a lot of things about him, like his humor, a lot of things. But one, my God, did he love all creatures?
Yeah.
All of them. So in his honor, January 13th, this January 13th, and coming forward, every January 13th, Casey's Creature Kindness Day.
I think that's lovely.
Thank you. Okay, so now we have not lovely things.
Great. Here's where it gets dark.
There's another, I guess you could call it a mini one. I wrote in caps, I haven't been watching the news, but the news finds me.
I feel the same way. I do not watch the news, but I can't get away from the news.
Everybody's talking about it on social media, and even just people, you randomly start talking about this stuff at Howard.
And I tell people I don't watch the news.
I know. And then they say, good for you, but then they start talking about it anyway.
I guess because some things are so like out there that people have to share this stuff.
Well, this one thing, okay, I'm going to talk about something that you definitely heard about, but first I'm going to talk about this. That'll be our main subject, but this is I'll say another mini one. Did you hear about, I don't know what to call it, open your AI eyes, I guess. We'll call it that. Okay, well, how do you feel about AI?
I think it's good and bad. It's just like with anything,
Yeah.
There's good points to it, and there's definite.
Do you think it's going to destroy us?
Like everything else, we're going to do it anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Is this the way that technology is going to go down?
I don't think that necessarily, but I think it's going to make things worse, definitely.
People are using it for very dark things.
Yes, people are using it for dark things, and you can make it look like people are doing things that they're not, which is scary.
Right. And to use their voices.
Yeah.
So there's a copyright thing going on with that, okay? And it's a huge thing, because if they're violating copyright, they have to stop doing all that stuff, right? Well, did you hear about this kid that they found dead?
No.
His name was Suchir. You know, my pronunciation is
Suchir Balaji.
That's right. A former OpenAI researcher, only 26 years old, was found dead in a San Francisco apartment in recent weeks. He was a whistleblower against OpenAI because he said that they were infringing on copyrights, and what they were doing was going to wind up like destroying everything. It was going to create complete chaos. So this is okay. How can this guy killed himself? What are the odds?
Oh, that's what they say?
They say it was, oh yeah, did I miss that part? Yeah. They said it was suicide. No way, okay? Now, they might have broken in and said, kill yourself or we're going to kill your family, or they might have just made it look like a suicide, because didn't anybody ever see any of these shows where it happens freaking all the time? Okay? And they did it really well, because the OpenAI people are really rich. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying it does seem suspicious, right?
Yeah.
It said that he left OpenAI earlier this year and voiced concerns publicly that the company had allegedly violated U.S. copyright laws in building its popular ChatGPT chatbot. And it said, there's a quote, "The manner of death has been determined to be a suicide," David Serrano, executive director of San Francisco's Office of Chief Medical Examiner, told CNN CNBC in an email. I guess that's where I got this from. Who knows? Okay. So Elon Musk used to be part of OpenAI. He created it with them. And then they publicly broke. Well, he left the company and he started some other AI thing, right? So he's got definitely beef with them for sure, right? And he's trying to stop them from becoming public. Meanwhile, he wanted them to become public, but he wanted to be like in charge of everything. So he wrote, when he posted about it, he just wrote,
Well, that's brilliant.
No, it is brilliant. because he doesn't want to get sued for saying anything. He said,
True.
it was a really good way because he doesn't believe it, and I don't believe it either. This is the one time I agree with Elon Musk.
Well, I mean, but how are we ever going to know?
This is the point, okay? Well, it's just like that other guy when they found him dead in his cell. Right?
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein.
Give me a break, okay?
No, I mean, there's lots of times when you think, but there's no way that it's...
And this is the thing. And I've just thought of this, and I'm not a fatalist or anything. We have to speak about these things, okay? I'm not going to not speak about this. This kid's only 26 years old. There was no reason for him to kill himself. He left the company. Just so happens that he spoke out, and now they're trying to go public. They want him dead, so we can't testify against him. I'm not saying it happened.
Alleged.
It's alleged. I'm just saying it's something to consider, I guess. How do you say it so it's not, so you don't get sued?
Allegedly.
No, allegedly is when they were already accused by other people.
Oh, okay.
This is just fantasy. I don't know. I say, like Elon Musk.
All right.
Because it just seems so unlikely, though, based on, I mean, what a coincidence that he decided to kill himself, like that.
I know. I agree. But like I said, it's really funny because in this day and age, you'd think that people couldn't get away with it with all, the DNA and all these ways they have of tracking things. But apparently people get away with it.
There's no, the person wears gloves or whatever. If you were going to murder somebody and make it look like suicide, if you really knew what you were doing, it wouldn't be hard. You get in there and you do it, and you wear gloves and stuff, and they make it look like they committed suicide. They don't say what it was, but I mean, I remember seeing, you see this on shows, like, and people do it, and people get away with it. They're not that skilled at it,
Yeah.
I bet you there's so much that people get away with that we don't even know, like ordinary people,
Oh, I think so. It's just
sad because we're only 26.
It's very sad.
I don't know. I'm not saying that anybody did anything, so calm down, Sam Altman or whoever. What do I know? I'm just saying, wow, he was 26. He's found dead just when they're going public.
Yeah.
It's really sad. This poor kid. He had his whole life. Obviously, he was brilliant. He worked with this AI, and now he's gone. Yeah, so I feel really bad. And more, what's his name? Musk definitely has reasons to be against them. OpenAI put a whole list of timeline. They're trying to show that he wanted it to be public, and now he's trying to stop it. There's no question that there's rich people fighting with each other. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I just think that the hum makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's really sad, and I hope people remember this kid like that. But I'm not saying anybody killed anybody, so chill. All right? Okay. So also 26 is Luigi Mangione.
Yeah.
You've heard of him.
Of course.
Okay.
Everybody's heard. I mean,
well, I heard about
like I said, I don't watch the news, and I heard about him.
I know. I think it first showed up on Facebook, but then Howard talked about him a bit. But it's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Oh yeah. I mean,
call him the accused killer, but meanwhile he confessed.
Yeah.
But now I think they're taking it back because his lawyers told him to shut up. All right. So the thing is, there's a lot about this, okay? But the fact that everybody thinks he's so cute, okay?
I'm so in that camp. I think he's cute. He needs an eyebrow wax, definitely, but yeah.
You know what I said about him? He looks like he's caught halfway transforming into a werewolf.
Because he needs a little wax action.
Have you noticed he's got like fangs, okay? Like those teeth? When he bares his teeth?
I find fangs to try.
Not you. You're not a werewolf. He came in on cute.
He did.
No, he's, oh my God, he's gross.
I don't think so.
And he's just, you like those skinny guys. Oh, there's nothing to this man.
I think he has a very cute face. Like I said,
have you seen him baring his fangs? Like, did you see that picture?
I'm okay with that.
That's what you want?
Like I said, fix those eyebrows.
That's it, huh?
Well, plus he's a killer. I mean, jeez.
He does not have like that warm and cuddly look.
No.
There's bad boys, yeah, that are cute, but he's just not, he's like snarling. He's like, yuck.
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
All right. And so, okay. You don't think he should be freed, right?
No.
Like, free him.
Really not.
And do you think he's Chuck Mangione's cousin?
First of all, I know that name, but why do I know that name? Oh, yeah, I know that. Why do I know that? What show is that?
It wasn't a show. It was like
What was that?
people used to play this all the time.
Oh, it's not a theme song?
It might, but he's a
Music?
musician.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Da-da-da, dun-dun-da-da.
Yeah, I know that song.
You know, he plays one of those things, the trumpet or something.
Yeah.
One of those, like, and people used to play that for some reason. They would play the instrumental. It was very popular
Oh,
when we were younger.
okay. Yeah, I recognize it, but I really thought it was a TV theme song.
Hey, a little.
But
I think
I
he
don't
had a
know.
hat. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Do you guys know Chuck Mangione? Dun, 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 dun. Well, I think they're related. I don't know. Okay. So it's a very complicated story. Apparently, he really believes in what he did. Like, because he had that whole thing, but he's rich. You know, he comes from a prominent family in Baltimore. They have country clubs, nursing home.
Yeah.
And a radio station. That could have been the downfall. No, I'm only kidding.
Okay.
Okay. So, and he attended the Gilman School, an all-boys private school with an annual tuition of nearly $40,000. He was the valedictorian of his 2016 graduating class. He was smart. And then he graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, and he got a bachelor's and a master's degree in engineering. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? So he's sacrificed everything, right? Neither he or his family had health insurance from United Healthcare. Okay. So he had to be so dedicated to this because, like, he's given up his whole life. You know why? So his mother reported him missing. And when the murder happened, they had this report if he was missing. So they compared him to the picture of the guy. They're like, oh, he looks like he could be that guy. So they showed the mother. And she said she couldn't tell, but she thought it looked like him. And she said that the shooting might be something he could have done.
Oh, my.
She could see him doing it.
Wow. That's something.
Your own mother. Interesting, right?
I mean,
So it's interesting.
being truthful.
She did report him missing. She obviously loves him.
Yeah. I mean, but
She could see him doing it.
yeah, that's, I guess.
Imagine saying that about your kid, though. I don't think I could. I don't know.
No. I mean, I don't know.
It's a strange family. Okay, and here he also, by committing this crime, he forfeited his share of tens of millions of dollars because the grandmother left it to the children and grandchildren after she died, but any grandchild receiving inheritance money must not be charged, indicted, convicted of, or plead guilty to a felony. So he has given up money. Like, that's
Okay,
like,
by the way, who put that in their will? What? That's weird.
well, she did.
Like, did she have an inkling that one of them was a little screwy?
I don't know, but it's a good idea.
Because I know, but who thinks of that?
Not Donald Trump's dad. I just think that's really hardcore. He's made this choice, okay? So he was arrested, second degree. Why second degree murder when he planned it? Well, shouldn't it be first degree?
I would think so.
That makes no sense. Second degree murder, firearm possession, and forgery. Forgery?
What was the forgery?
Probably like, I don't know, probably something really silly. They found the bullet casings, and the bullet casings had the words deny, defend, and depose engraved on them. A possible reference to deny, delay, defend, a phrase used to describe insurance industry tactics for dodging claims. Oh, you think it's a possible reference? What a coincidence. He was talking about something totally different, you know? So then, in his manifesto, Luigi deferred to filmmaker Michael Moore, who I really admire, as a qualified person to lay out the full healthcare argument.
Why do they always have a manifesto? I mean, it's good because then we know where their head's at, but really?
Well, Michael Moore has a lot to say about the fact that people stopped calling it a manifesto then, because the people are trying to whitewash it more. So
yeah,
Michael Moore's response is extremely interesting, I hope.
I guess we'll see.
These are things that I kind of get worked up about while I'm doing it. Are you all right?
I'm trying to work out this microphone.
It's so squeaky.
I know. Sorry, guys. But I'm a low talker, so I know I've said that, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying.
You're good. I hope it's good because I get all worked up. Like, is this even interesting? Maybe because I've already been through it so many times in my head, but I'm like, what the fuck? What am I talking about?
Oh, no, I didn't know some of this stuff.
Is it interesting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to know what Michael Moore said.
Okay. What do you think he said?
Well, I can see it, honestly.
Oh, there's a lot more.
I don't know.
Jesus, you're reading it.
It's
No.
right in my eye
Oh,
line.
no. You're ruining it. We used to have a surprise element. Okay. Now you can't see it? What do you think he said? All you said, you just saw it. It's been 3 days since Luigi.
I don't know what he said. Maybe that there is a problem with the healthcare system. I think we can all agree on that, but you don't need to shoot people over it. I mean,
Yeah. You think he said that?
I don't know what he said. I don't know. He covered it up.
Okay. He said, it's been 3 days and 1 year, and it's trying to do that Sinead O'Connor. What's her name?
Sinead O'Connor.
That's the song, right? And Prince wrote it. It's been whatever, I can't. So 3 days, they found this, since he obviously said this a few days ago. Luigi Mangione's manifesto was, I'm sorry, but that name is a little, and I'm Italian, so I can say that.
No, it's the name of Mario's brother, and Mario, Super Mario.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But their last name's not Mangione. Do they have last names?
I don't know.
Super Mario.
Well, I mean, all the Marios. Sorry,
I never played these games, so I don't know anything about them.
I totally did.
Oh, I can't stand that stuff. So annoying.
I have not a Game Boy. What's the new thing called?
Nope.
Switch. I have a Switch.
You do?
Yeah.
You play video games?
Yeah, I like them. I'm not good at
You
them.
never mentioned this.
Really?
No. All we talk about is you watching TV.
I do watch an insane amount of TV
When do you play the video games?
while I'm watching TV.
Are you kidding? How do you? I have no way. If I'm doing one thing, I cannot do the other.
Oh, I'm very good at multitasking.
Oh, no. These days, it's really bad. Like, it's like almost like I can't even pet the dog while I'm watching TV. Like, I need to concentrate.
yeah.
Otherwise, I just miss everything.
No, I can do several things at one time.
It's amazing.
I don't know why. I can't remember what happened
really-
yesterday,
I
literally.
really
but
wish that I could do that. It's so
Yeah.
annoying that I can't do that anymore. Wow.
oh, that's what I do at work. I do like 3 things at the same
you
time.
do, and I don't know how you can't do that. I can't do that at all. It's terrible. Okay. So he said in it's just funny, Mangione's manifesto. He said that he was not the most qualified person to lay out the full argument against our for-profit healthcare industry. Apparently, to Mangione, one of those qualified people, M- is me. In his manifesto, he referenced how I've illuminated the corruption and greed, implying folks should go to my work to understand the complexity and the power-hungry abuse within our current system. And then he said, it's not often that my work gets a killer 5-star review from an actual killer.
Wow.
And thus, my phone has been ringing off the hook, which is bad news because my phone doesn't have a hook. Emails are pouring in, text messages, requests from many in the media. The messages all sound something like this. Luigi mentioned you in his manifesto, that people should listen to you. Will you come on our show or talk to our reporter and tell them that you condemn murder? Okay? They want him to condemn murder.
They asked him specifically to do that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. So then he said, another we could call this episode, things that make you go, Do I condemn murder? That's an odd question. In Fahrenheit 9/11, which was a great movie, which I brought my son Michael, he was so young. He was too young, he fell. So he tried to stay awake. He couldn't do it. In Fahrenheit 9/11, I condemned the murder of hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqi people and the senseless murder of our own American soldiers at the hands of the American government. In Bowling for Columbine, I condemned the murder of 50,000 Americans every year at the hands of the gun industry and our politicians who do nothing to stop it. In my 35 years as a filmmaker, have I said or done anything that has implied that I condone murder? As a teenager during the Vietnam War, I was required to register for the draft at the local draft board. There was a box on the form asking me if I had a problem with killing Vietnamese people. Actually, it just asked me to check the box if I was going to file for conscientious objector status, meaning, if given the opportunity, I would swear that I would never kill a Vietnamese person. I checked the box. Why wouldn't everybody check that box?
Because some people believe in that cause. I don't know how, but
yeah, but to get out of going to Vietnam, wouldn't you check that box?
I would. I would, but
even if I definitely am a conscientious objector. I definitely couldn't kill people, but even if I could kill people, I would want.
I know, but there's lots of people who sign up to do just that.
Well, I don't understand that. Throughout my adult life, I have repeatedly stated that I'm a pacifist. In fact, I have never struck another human being in my life, not even on the playground. So then he said more, but I don't think if you can go on michaelmoore.com, by the way, and read the entire thing. And I think you should. Here's a sad statistic for you. In the United States, we have a whopping 1.4 million people employed in the job of denying health care. vs only 1 million doctors in the entire country. More people, 0.4 million more to deny than we have doctors, okay? And he said, that's all you need to know about America. We pay more people to deny care than to give it. Wow. And then it says, if the purpose of healthcare is keeping people alive, then what is the purpose of denying people healthcare? And he has that in caps. Tell me how you really feel, Michael.
I mean, he's right.
Well, he's always, but then it's funny, like, it's not funny, but like, it takes something like this, like, no, of course we don't condone murder, but like, why doesn't anybody pay attention before somebody's murdered?
Because they're still not going to pay attention after. It's not going to change.
This is what I'm saying.
Disgusting.
Ultimately, I'm like, no matter what I've seen, and continue, as I write about history, you might have heard.
I think I heard something about that.
And I study humanity, and it just never changes, okay? And I just don't see any hope. Like, there are good people, we're good people. I'm sure you guys are great people because you love us, so what? You have to be, right? But I feel like we're completely outnumbered.
Yes, and I really have an example of that, but I don't think I should say it because we've agreed not to talk about
No,
that.
well, I think people are implying it, and I'm going to say something. Well, I might say something that might surprise you. It's the latest thing. I don't like any hate. Or I don't like killing, but I don't like hate, and we agree. And I feel like I don't know if it's getting worse, but it's just more obvious that hate is prevalent.
I think a lot of these people. I think a lot of people felt that way, and in recent years, it's become acceptable to be open about it.
Yeah.
Because there are no consequences.
Yeah. No, it's actually applauded.
Yeah.
It's interesting how look, again, I don't condone murder, but it's interesting how this is so important. Just because the guy's a CEO doesn't make his murder any more important than any other murder or any other death. Not really. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, it's sad. And also, he's one person.
Right.
It's not really helping the actual problem. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't murder anybody.
No.
But I mean, if he was making a point, like,
he definitely made a point because
he made a point.
He was the largest, provider. It was the biggest supposed offender. I'm not claiming I know a lot about this.
Like I said, he's one man. Somebody will take his place and be just as bad.
Well, I think that this guy was.
I don't actually know that he was bad. I don't know anything about this man.
Well, actually, I don't know where it is, but the guy was. It might be in Michael Moore's letter, but the guy was under some corruption charges and things like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was being investigated. I don't know if he was ever charged. I'm not sure, but there was stuff going on with
him. But it doesn't mean you get to be.
No. You shouldn't have. There's no execution.
Right.
No, of course not. Of course not. And Michael Moore does. What's the purpose of denying people health care other than to kill them?
Yeah.
I definitely condemn that kind of murder.
Of course, because that happens every day and nobody does anything about it. There's so many things that we're all aware of.
Yes.
That never change. And people are suffering and dying because of these things.
So many things. I decided I want to just sit. I'm still going to talk, because I can't shut up about things, obviously. But I'm just I have to find a way to sort of live despite all this horror, because it could kill us, like just thinking about it,
But there's also things you can do. I mean, even if you help just one person.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we do this with this podcast. Like, I think we're helping just by talking about it and everybody's feeling similarly, and
Yeah.
we have,
But there's also things you can do. You can volunteer at different
I
organizations.
can't do that anymore.
I know, but sometimes people want to. It's action that they can take.
Seriously, like how much I can't take putting my heart into volunteering for something, and then it's not failing. It's giving up. It's like what people just sort of surrender to. I don't know. I just can't. I'm kind of, for now, I'm just like over all that. I'm just gonna sit. Like I just want to sit. I have a quote in the end from well, I'm not gonna tell you now, but it's like I just want to sort of sit on my own and do this, but but like not go out, like no more. I just like have to separate myself from the madness of
I understand that, but
crazy.
other people might want to do it.
Yeah, I hope
everybody contributes in their own way.
absolutely.
Or at least you should contribute in your own way, but some people.
Oh, I agree. And look, more power to you if you want to get out there and do stuff. I commend you. So he said that he definitely condemns that kind of murder. And in fact, I already did. This is him speaking. In 2007, I made a film, Sicko. Did you hear about the film?
No.
About America's bloodthirsty, profit-driven, and murderous health insurance system. It was nominated for an Oscar. It's the second largest grossing film of my career after Fahrenheit 9/11. And over the past 15 years, millions upon millions of people have watched it, including apparently Luigi Mangione.
Just so.
He said, after the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare, the largest of these billion-dollar insurance companies, there was an immediate outpouring of anger toward the health insurance industry. Some people have stepped forward to condemn this anger. I am not one of them. The anger is 1,000% justified. It is long overdue for the media to cover it. It is not new. It has been boiling, and I'm not going to tamp it down or ask people to shut up. I want to pour gasoline on that anger. Because this anger is not about the killing of a CEO. If everyone who was angry was ready to kill the CEOs would already be dead. That is not what this reaction is about. It's about the mass death and misery, the physical pain, the mental abuse, the medical debt, the bankruptcies in the face of denied claims and denied care, and bottomless deductibles on top of ballooning premiums that this healthcare industry has levied against the American people for decades. With no one standing in their way, just a government, two broken parties, and I agree, two broken parties.
Yeah,
absolutely. Enabling this industry's theft and, yes, murder. And now the press is calling me to ask, why are you angry, Mike? I like, Mike, do you condemn murder, Mike? Yes, I condemn murder, and that's why I condemn America's broken, vile, rapacious? I can never say these words.
Rapacious. I think. I'm not sure, actually, because I've never heard that word.
I think it means the same as violent.
Yes, I mean, we can get that, but I've never heard it.
Bloodthirsty, unethical, immoral healthcare industry, and I condemn every one of the CEOs who are in charge of it, and I condemn every politician who takes their money and keeps the system going. I could name the governor for that. New York governor, I see you. And keeps the system going instead of tearing it up, ripping it apart, and throwing it away. We need to replace the system with something sane, something care and loving, something that keeps people alive. This is a moment when we can create that change. But instead, what are we doing? What are our leaders doing? What is the Democratic Party doing? Then he showed a YouTube video, and I'm not going to show it because I don't think, like, legally I can show someone else's YouTube video.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
So if you want to see the actual video, go on Michael Moore, and you could hit the YouTube thing. But it was this young man who said all the politicians are doing are saying, and they're right to say killing is not justified, but they're not addressing the healthcare thing at all, and they never do. They never do. Did you ever notice?
Well, that's what I mean. They're still not going to.
They just placate. They just like, oh my God, they just because they're afraid to ever open their mouths. Why? Probably because they're getting donations from these people. The healthcare.
Just like the gun thing. You know what? How many times do we have to go through these things, but they don't? It still doesn't. There's still no solution. Nobody.
Hey, don't you think? Look, Kamala Harris. Don't get me wrong, but I do think she was a little bit with the placating stuff too. She didn't really go out on a limb and say anything extraordinary. I don't think she did.
No, I don't think so. But I mean,
right. But
also, I think she was trying to win the race, and you can't really.
Yeah, but if you're like if you're kind of mediocre about things, you don't come off genuine. I think the reason she lost is because she's a woman. There's no question.
Oh,
but
yeah, I
but
think
but
so
that's
too.
it was we talked about in another episode. But I just think it's not like she was out there making any big leaps either. Okay, so he's criticizing the Democratic Party, and this guy in this video said, "Yeah, I watched these Democrats, so-called liberals, or whatever they are. They're supposed to be for the people." And they don't. None of them condemn the healthcare industry. None of them say anything about the problem that has been shown by this happening, and instead they only condemn the murder, which you have to do, but they don't say anything else.
Right, both sides are
And so
guilty of not.
this kid said, "Now I know why the Democrats lost." He said that, and I think it was interesting. And so then Michael Moore shared a video of Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, and yeah, there's something about him that makes I feel is disingenuous. Disingenuous? Yes, also. And he was very disingenuous in this video because he just gave the platitudes and did not address it at all. Nothing. He just said, "We all know murder is bad." I mean, what did you think we're all going to take to the streets and start shooting everybody?
Yeah,
You're stating the obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, this really is a time when he can maybe stand up and say something valuable about, yeah, I see you people that are being hurt by the system. I want to help you. But does he do that? No. Probably because he's getting funding from these frigging health insurance companies. They fund them.
I know.
So I want to say that this reminds me of the Democrats in 1968, okay? Because I'm writing about that. And gets me so revved up. Soapbox time. No. They failed to address the U.S.'s continued involvement in Vietnam, okay? And they handed the election to Richard Nixon because they did not, they honestly, the Democrats, that Democratic president was the one that sent our troops in. After lying and saying he wasn't going to send them, he had a phony attack, which Michael Moore mentions later on. It was fake. The ship did not, he said that the Vietnamese ship fired on Americans, and they were not. He said in private, I know they were stupid idiots were shooting at flying fish or something. And he used that lie to kill hundreds of thousands of Americans ultimately. Okay. So, and Richard Nixon and the Republicans was, as far as I'm concerned, not all Republicans, but Richard Nixon, we all see what he turned out to be, out of the frying pan and into the fire, History repeats itself. I wrote, ladies and gentlemen. I get so full of myself. Okay. I was at an event. This really upset me. I was at an event last fall where Letitia James, who was the Attorney General of New York, spoke. And I really was she was like my hero. I was fangirling over her because she's done so many really cool things. She has stood up. She stood up for people. So I thought, okay, but well, I guess she did do those things. But I say never meet your heroes, or at least take a listen to their propaganda because, okay, it was the night when the student protesters were about to be rounded up at Columbia. Remember, they were okay. Now, whether we support what they did, what they believed or not, Letitia James's next words were chilling. Okay, she said, "Freedom of speech is important to a point." You can't say to a point. Freedom of speech is either important or it's not. Because she said they were rounding those kids up. She told us before they did it. She had to leave to go round those kids up. She said in Chicago in 1968, those protesters were the reason we lost the election. She blamed them. Okay? No. Okay, number one, she's saying politics are more important than free speech. Because that's what it is. You're shutting people up. What are you afraid of? Let them speak. We don't have to agree with what people are saying, but who are we to shut them up? Right? Then she said, she's blaming the victims. In I'm talking about 1968. Did you know about, okay, at the Democratic convention, it's the Chicago 8. Sometimes they call it Chicago 7, but there were 8 of them. And they were protesting at the convention, and the cops attacked them. There's video of it, okay? Those kids, I call them kids, but they were, they were teens and in their 20s. Some of them might have been in their 30s. They were attacked by cops who were under the orders from Mayor Daley, okay? Again, all Democrats, okay? They didn't do anything. They were attacked. And she blames them for losing. Maybe they shouldn't have attacked them, And now, and she twists the facts, and now here we are, Democrats defeated again. Because, it doesn't matter. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm a Democrat," da da da. You can't stop free speech. This is constitutional right. And to blame them for things that the party did wrong, I'm just so, and I'm feeling like it's like that again, it's just terrible. And I wrote, I'm fucking disgusted with all politics and justifications. I really am. I'm so over it. But anyway, back to my, that was my little insertion. You like that? So then he said, Shapiro wasn't alone. Remember, he didn't say anything except condemn it. After last week's killing, which was just one more gun death in an unending sea of American gun deaths, it is true. Our Democratic leaders all chimed in to say, in America, we don't solve our problems and our ideological disputes with violence, and that there's no place for political violence in America. And then he said, no place for political violence? America's entire history is defined by political violence. We slaughtered the native people who already lived here. We enslaved and slaughtered the African people our founding fathers kidnapped and brought here. We, to this day, force women in our country to give birth against their will. 77 million Americans just voted in November to approve Trump mobilizing the U.S. Army to round up and forcibly remove immigrants, dead or alive, from our country. We spent $8 trillion in the last 20 years bombing and slaughtering people in the Middle East. He goes on, and you, our leaders, are telling us there's no place for political violence in America? It's true. Hypocrites.
Yeah.
People across America are not celebrating the brutal murder of a father of 2 kids from Minnesota. Minnesota, nice. They are screaming for help. They are telling you what's wrong. They are saying that the system is not just and it is not right. It cannot continue. They want retribution. They want justice. They want health care. And they want to use their money to live, not throw it away each month into a black hole of health insurance premiums, only to discover that when the time comes to finally use their insurance, when the leg breaks or the car crashes or the gun accidentally goes off, their health insurance companies, they're not to help them but to deny their claim, bankrupt them with deductibles and copays, and give them the runaround until their spirit is broken, and they just give up and wait to die. That's what happened when I had Casey. We had to declare bankruptcy because we found that our health insurance wasn't going to cover us.
Oh, yeah, that happens to so many people. And even people with, I have really good insurance that I paid through the nose for. I mean, I paid a ridiculous amount of money to keep me and my children covered. But, when something happens, even with really good insurance, those copays, that.
Well, it makes you not want to go to the doctor, even though you need it, because you can't afford the copay.
Listen, there's a lot of people who have to make a choice. Do I feed my kids or do I go to the doctor?
Yeah.
That shouldn't have to be anybody's choice.
No, not at all. No, it's disgusting. When I had Casey, we had to buy, because we had our own business, right? So you're really screwed because you're not part of any. Not that it's so great when you work for people, you still have to pay a fortune for it, but it's a little cheaper than when you own your own business. So we bought this one. It was very expensive. I can't remember. I definitely don't remember all the details. It was, 25 years ago. But what happened was we paid in these insane premiums the whole time. And right after I gave birth, the whole place they went out of business. Like I called them about something, like you could hear them partying in the background. You could hear them like, blah, 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 and they just went out of business. And because it was a certain kind of health, the government didn't back it at all. Okay. And my doctor, apparently when you have a baby, they only submit one bill at the end once you've given birth.
Mm-hmm.
And so we weren't covered at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we had to go bankrupt. And it was our credit, credit's destroyed. Everything it took 10, 15 years to recover from that.
Yeah. And that's what people are going through. My daughter-in-law, my son and daughter-in-law just had a baby and she's had some health problems. And even just for the birth, what she owed the hospital or what they owe a hospital is crazy. And they have insurance. It's you just can't get ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, and these are people with relatively decent insurance.
Yeah. So you think you're going to be okay, and then you're
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
I had a friend a while ago who had cancer, and he couldn't get the care he needed at first, that critical care, because he didn't have insurance.
Wow.
I mean, and he was 23 years old.
Wow.
I mean, and eventually it worked out. By then it was too late. I don't know if it would have been too late.
Yeah.
But the point is,
went without the treatment.
he went without treatment.
That's all. And have to worry.
That's disgusting.
It is.
It's disgusting. I mean, and how many people does that happen to?
Right. Right.
There are these people with pre-existing conditions that get screwed. I mean, it's not your fault that you have a pre-existing condition.
No.
It's
life is a pre-existing condition.
Yes.
I know, it's disgusting. So, and he said, but the politicians and the pundits and the headlines aren't telling you that, just like they aren't telling you the truth about this crime. They're so busy telling you not to riot. That makes me think of, can't we all just,
Rodney King, the LA riot.
Yeah. They're so busy telling you not to riot and not to participate in an uprising against their advertisers and campaign funders that they won't tell you what this really is, a rich on rich crime. Luigi, a young rich man with a couple of Ivy League degrees, scion of a family that owns two of the biggest country clubs in Maryland and who was in line to inherit a chain of nursing homes. In other words, scion of a family that's enriched themselves off a broken healthcare system by bilking retirees and their families in their end of days. This young rich man with an axe to grind against another multimillionaire, the CEO facing this is what it is, Justice Department antitrust investigation, as well as accusations of bilking taxpayers and Medicaid, Medicare schemes, and of participating in illegal insider trading. That's what I got accused of. That's a lot. On Monday, the mainstream media was breathlessly reporting about Luigi's manifesto. On Tuesday, though the manifesto was leaked, the mainstream media refused to publish it. By Wednesday, with the whiff of a perfectly choreographed PR move, the mainstream media stopped calling it a manifesto. Now it was a letter, a confession, or rantings. Some of the words were indecipherable. It wasn't a manifesto. It was nonsense. Clearly, the health insurance companies were immediately spending millions of dollars on publicists and lobbyists to convince each of the networks to send out a memo to their anchors and reporters banning the word manifesto in the desperate hope that the American public would not be inspired to rise up, not with violence, but with the immense power they already hold in their hands. Because the numbers don't lie, there are only 800 billionaires in this country, 6 million millionaires, and 160 million of you reading this right now who are living from paycheck to paycheck and literally cannot afford the rent. For God's sake, don't call what he wrote a manifesto, because the one mistake the rich have made is that those 160 million working class people were taught free of charge to read. I mean, he's right, that's really chilling to think that the media would do that, but they did do it. I mean, they stopped calling it a manifesto, and why wouldn't they publish it? What are they doing? And then he goes into history again. He said, I don't know. And this is what I was telling you about. When Lyndon Johnson used the manufactured Gulf of Tonkin incident to launch the Vietnam War, that's the fake thing I told you about, his address to the nation was 546 words long. LBJ's manifesto ended with the pledge that America's mission is peace. That mission ended with the pointless deaths of 58,220 American soldiers and 4 million people in Southeast Asia. When George W. Bush addressed the nation on the night of his shock and awe, his manifesto was 578 words. In it, he promised that the people, we, liberate, will witness the honorable and decent spirit of the American military. George's words killed nearly 5,000 American service members and countless thousands of Iraqis. 163 years ago, half our country, desperate to keep enslaving people, launched the Civil War. This I kind of disagree with, but leading to President Abraham Lincoln's manifesto, the Gettysburg Address, which is just 262 words long. And I wrote in parentheses, okay, I have a lot to say about the Gettysburg Address and what Lincoln meant about a new birth of freedom, but I'll save that for another time, except to say that Lincoln's idea of a new birth of freedom was about creating a more perfect union. And his idea of a more perfect union might be different than what we think of today. And then I said, I have a lot to say about something I wasn't going to say. Think about this. And this is really important, guys. The Emancipation Proclamation only freed enslaved people in the South. Okay? It's pretty self-serving for Lincoln, considering he was fighting against the South, right? If he truly wanted to free all enslaved people, why didn't he? Back to Michael Moore. Luigi Mangione's manifesto, it's also 262 words long. Interesting. What if it doubt it? No. But don't get me wrong. No one needs to die. In fact, that's my point. No one needs to die. No one should die because they don't have health insurance. That one single person should die because of their health insurance. Because their health insurance denies their health care in order to make a buck or 32 billion bucks. These insurance corporations and their executives have more blood on their hands than 1,000 9/11 terrorists. And that's why they're scrubbing their executives' profiles from their websites and putting up fences around their headquarters because they know what they have done. You can't be the CEO of a company when you knowingly deny care to people, often leading to their deaths, and not have people mad at you. People hate you. People have no pity for you because you have no pity for them. But I have a solution. No one has to kill anyone, and it doesn't cost anything. I have a solution that doesn't involve any violence. This next part, wow. And less violence to you means us taking money out of your rich effing pockets. And less violence to you means you can't send your kids to USC or UPenn or buy a third vacation home or a fourth Tesla or a fifth Land Rover or another yacht. So true, right? The solution is simple. Throw this entire system in the trash. Dismantle this immoral business that profits off lives of human beings and monetizes our deaths. That murders us or leaves us to die. Destroy it all and instead, in its place, give us all the same health care that every other civilized country on earth has. Universal, free, compassionate, and full of life. Give us Scotland. You were there. Give us Uruguay. Give us Taiwan. Give us Canada or give us death. Just go ahead and deny us all now the care that we will someday need. Or give us Canada and let's get busy curling. And now, what I would like is for everyone reading this to watch my movie Sicko, and then when it's over, join me in condemning this murderous health insurance system. So he put his movie for free on YouTube, so you can look for it. You can get the link directly from his website, or you can just go. I started watching it. Let me tell you, a little gross there, because he's showing somebody stitching his own thing because he can't go to the doctor. And that was just the opening. So don't watch it while you're eating dinner. But I think it's really important for us to see this stuff. If people have to suffer, we should care enough to watch, you know. And everybody, we all suffer one way or another, you know. We all do,
Yeah.
And we should all care about each other, you know. And what I'm going to talk about in the next week, in our case, a few minutes to each time when we record the second episode, I'm going to talk about. You've probably heard of Dr. Death, right?
No.
You haven't heard of Dr. Death? Where have you been?
Who?
Where you been? What's hiding out lately, honey?
Kevorkian?
No, that's old Dr. Death. There's a new Dr. Death in town.
Oh,
There's a podcast that called Dr. Death, and it actually was more popular than Serial.
okay.
And it's also now a movie. It's this guy, Doctor. I don't know. I'll tell you next time.
Okay.
Deutsch. I know it, but I cannot. What's his name? Let's see. I don't know. I can't find it now, but I'll tell you next time. But it's really big, and a lot of people. It's unbelievable what happened. Well, it's not unbelievable because it happened. But it's an example. It's an example of this healthcare system.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was a deadly doctor, but I mean, the system breaks down in stopping him too, because people are afraid. You know what? Sometimes the other part of the problem is people are afraid of getting sued, so they don't say anything. This is a huge problem. So, and I will say personally, okay, our new governor, seriously, we're only one of 2 states that doesn't have a grieving family act, which means my son died. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not sure why I'm not speaking, but I'm waiting to speak about this because I want to really get him justice. But he died at someone else's hands. It's a very complicated story, but I can't sue I can sue, but I can't sue for any amount of substantial money because there's no Grieving Families Act. So if someone dies, their life is only worth what they made, how much money they made when they were living. So Casey was 23, was an Uber Eats driver. So I can only sue for whatever he was earning, which I would do because it's not about the money for me. It's about making them, stopping this from happening again. Is, you want justice. We don't care about the money. The money is the thing that how they suffer because that's all they care about.
Right.
But no lawyers will take the case because they're not going to make any money.
That's sad.
And I found that it's not only we are the worst scenario that we don't have the Grieving Families Act, but I found out like this Dr. Death happened in Texas. What they did was it's the whole reason now again, supposedly a Democrat or Governor Kathy Hochul, whatever her name is, right? She wears more makeup than Tammy Faye Baker. Okay. And I've written her twice at least. And I've written her and I've said, how would you feel if it was, I forget her kids' names, but I said, I think one of them's named Katie. I said, what about if it was your kids? What would you do then? But she gets donations from these health insurance companies and these doctors. And guess what? She said, her excuse is, oh, the health insurance costs will rise too much for doctors. Who gives a shit? Don't make the mistakes that kill people.
I agree.
I also don't understand why you have to prove malice because you don't have to have malice. What about negligence? Negligence, that counts, okay? If you're a doctor, first do no harm. How about that, right?
Yeah.
So I found out that in Texas, this thing with Dr. Death, that's where that happens. And people also couldn't sue for a large amounts of money because there's a cap. They are allowed to sue, but there's a cap on the pain and suffering. So it's basically putting them in the same position as me. They can sue for a little more, I think $250,000. But that's not enough to get these lawyers interested either.
Right.
Because they take whatever they take of it, It's just not enough for all their time. Because they take, a piece of it. They don't charge you. So, well, who could afford it if they did? I mean, people can't afford it, So these people that have lost people, this man maimed people, this man killed people, and they can't get any, and again, what they really want is justice,
Yeah.
There actually was justice, but in actual criminal court. It's very interesting what they did. They didn't stop till they got him, but it's a very fascinating case. But I'm just saying, don't say that you're caring if you care more about money and these and who cares about the insurance premiums? And they act like, oh, then the doctors will leave, right? The doctors aren't going anywhere. They're going to go. Texas said if they did that, then more doctors would come to Texas. No more doctors came to Texas. It was the same amount of doctors. And they also said that people's health insurance premiums would go lower because of this. They did not go lower. The only thing that happened was doctors' insurance premiums went lower. That's it. So this is just again, I'm just going to sit in my house. But I like talking about it. I hope you like listening. I don't know. If you don't, I'm sorry. I tried. I lost my quotes. Hold on. Do you have quote?
I don't, because I didn't know what we were talking about.
Oh, okay. I'll leave you with two quotes then, I think. There's one by Plato, not Play-Doh, but Plato. This is when philosophers were cool. This was before they got really boring. There will be no end of the troubles of states or of humanity itself till philosophers become kings in this world, or till those we now call kings and rulers really and truly become philosophers. Cool ones. And political power and philosophy thus come into the same hands. I don't think that's going to happen. And then Nietzsche said, all things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I love that. All right, guys. That's it for us.
What?
I don't know. We're done. But I say what? I say au revoir. And you say?
I don't remember.
What do you?
What do I say?
You say something.
Oh, good day.
Good day. All right.